Students, in our last class, under chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance, we started discussing Human Genome Project. If you remember, in last class, we just discussed about goals of Human Genome Project. Let us just recall what we have learned in last class, that is goals of Human Genome Project we have learned in last class. Number one, first goal is they wanted to know at least 20,000 to 25,000 genes in the human body. Okay. To know 20,000 to 25,000 genes in human DNA. Then second, they wanted to know which are those 3 billion base pairs which forms human DNA, or human DNA contains 3 billion base pairs. Which are those? How they are arranged? They wanted to know. Okay, so to know 3 billion base pairs which make up human DNA. Then third, what they wanted to do? They wanted to store that information, store the information of DNA sequence in database. After storing, what they will do? They will analyze it. Analyze the data. Then they wanted to apply that knowledge to, or that technologies to, different sectors like industries, and they wanted to address LC, that is ethical, legal, social issues which arises from this project. Now this is what we have learned in last class. Now we will continue learning this Human Genome Project. I said it is a mega project, big project. Mega means big, huge. Why it is mega project? Because it took 13 years. 13 years project that is started in 1990 and finished in 2003. So it took 13 years, and a single country is not involved in this. Many countries are involved in this. Like first, this Human Genome Project was first started by US Department of Energy and National Institute of Health. US Department of Energy and National NIH, that is National Institute of Health. Okay, it was started by this US Department of Energy and National Institute of Health. Okay, so it was first coordinated or started by US Department of Energy and National Institute of Health. They started this Human Genome Project. They wanted to know how many genes are there in human body. Okay, then first in the early years, Wellcome Trust UK Wellcome Trust UK was a partner for them in the early years. When they started that project, Wellcome Trust from United Kingdom, UK, became a partner. Okay, they were a major partner. That means Human Genome Project was started by US Department of Energy and National Institute of Health. Later, Wellcome Trust of United Kingdom, UK, became a major partner. Then some other countries also joined. Like which countries joined? Additional contributions also came from Japan, France. Other contributions from Japan also joined, France also joined, Germany also joined. Then along with that, China also joined. Okay, and some other countries also. China and others, they have gone. That means many countries are involved in making this project successful. So it's a mega project, no, very big project, because single country is not involved in this. Many countries are involved. First, this project was started by US Department of Energy and National Institute of Health. Then in the early years, first partner for them is Wellcome Trust UK. Then other countries also joined, like Japan, France, Germany, China, and other countries also joined. And not only countries contribute money for making this project successful, they gave their research scientists also to finish this project. Means scientists from all these countries joined together and made that project successful. Okay, so what is their idea? Knowledge about the effects of DNA variations, okay, which is a difference among the organisms, is a revolutionary new ways to diagnose, treat, and someday prevent thousands of diseases. Meaning, their idea was, with the knowledge of DNA variations. What is that variation? Variation means change. Variation means change. They wanted to get a knowledge of how genes are there in my body, in one human, and how it is there in other humans. What is the difference between two human beings and what is the similarity? I told you 99.9% genes are same in all the human beings, only 0.1% difference. They wanted to get the knowledge of what is that 0.1% difference. With that knowledge, what they wanted to do, with the knowledge of DNA variations among the individuals, means how one human being differs from other human being with his DNA. My DNA is different, your DNA is different. Okay, so how we can say now? Because of they studied that in Human Genome Project. So their idea was, by studying, by having knowledge of DNA variation, means how DNA is different from one organism to other organism, they wanted to diagnose the disease, okay, and they wanted to treat the disease, treatment, and prevent thousands of different diseases. This is a great idea, isn't it? See, why they wanted to know how many genes are there in human body, then how one human being's DNA is different from other human being's DNA. Because with that change in DNA from one organism to other organism, by having that knowledge, they wanted to diagnose disease. I mean, which disease that person has, and what is the treatment for that disease, and how to have prevention for many diseases, thousands of diseases. Means how we can solve that problem of getting disease. That is, if you don't want to get disease, then what to do? What is the solution? All that they wanted to find. That is why they wanted to do, Human Genome Project. Okay. Then they wanted to know, they wanted to understand human biology with this. Understanding human biology means what is the structure of DNA in human body, and how many genes work, and how one single gene works in the body. So how our entire body works, okay, that they wanted to know. So why they were doing Human Genome Project? Because they, by having a knowledge of difference between the human beings in DNA, they wanted to diagnose the disease, treat the disease, prevent many diseases, and they wanted to understand human biology. And not only that, they wanted to understand DNA of non-human organisms, like not only human beings. This is Human Genome Project, no? but they have done sequencing of DNA of not only humans, some other organisms also they did. Which organisms we will see now. Okay, so the first one, third application, third aim was to know the DNA of non-human organisms. Meaning, what will be the DNA sequence of rat? What will be the DNA sequence of rice plant? What will be the DNA sequence of maize plant? What will be the DNA sequence of coconut tree? Okay, so they wanted to know not only DNA of human body, but also they wanted to know DNA of other organisms also, like different plants, insects, okay, bacteria, then other microorganisms. They wanted to know DNA sequence of all the organisms. Okay, which all DNA, which all organisms they have sequenced. Sequenced means whether they have removed DNA of only humans or other organisms also. Definitely they have removed DNA of other organisms also and studied. Which organisms we will see now one by one. Chalk. Okay, so they have done sequencing in many non-human model organisms. Sequencing non-human, other than human beings. Non-human organisms. Okay, that means other than human beings, different organisms, non-human model organisms. That is called non-human models. Which are those non-human model organisms? We will see now one by one. That is bacteria, yeast. Which all organisms they have removed DNA? They have removed DNA of bacteria, yeast, and they have removed DNA of other organisms also, like Caenorhabditis elegans. It's a type of nematode, roundworm. Okay. Caenorhabditis elegans. They have removed DNA of this organism also, Caenorhabditis elegans. It's a free living, non-pathogenic nematode. Free living, non-pathogenic. Pathogenic means disease causing. Non-pathogenic means which doesn't cause any disease. Non-pathogenic nematode. Nematode means roundworm. You know already nematode, you have learnt. Okay, they have removed DNA of this organism also, and they have removed DNA of Drosophila also, fruit fly. Morgan's favorite, fruit fly. And they have removed a DNA of rice plant, Arabidopsis, many plants like rice and Arabidopsis plant. What is that Arabidopsis? What is that plant is not given in the book, but if you want to know, it's a small flowering plant, not found in India, but it is found in Eurasia and South Africa. Eurasia and South Africa, it is small flowering plant. It's a weed, unwanted plant. Okay, unwanted plant. It belongs to mustard family or Brassicaceae family. Mustard family or Brassicaceae family. The meaning of which plant it is. Arabidopsis is a very small flowering plant found in Eurasia and South Africa. It's a weed, unwanted plant, belongs to mustard family. Okay, so they have removed and studied DNA of all these organisms: bacteria, yeast, Caenorhabditis elegans, Drosophila, plants like rice, Arabidopsis, etc. means, and other organisms also. Why they studied other organisms also? Because they wanted to solve and they wanted to know the capacities of other organisms also, capabilities of other organisms, and apply that knowledge in agriculture and other sectors. Like they wanted to solve the challenges in healthcare, agriculture, energy production, environmental remediation, all that. Means they wanted to study these organisms because they wanted to solve many challenges in healthcare. Healthcare means for the doctors in the hospitals, in the healthcare industry, then in agriculture, okay, then in energy production, then environmental remediation means solving the problems of environment. Environmental remediation. Remedy means solution. You know, Indian scientist, he has used a bacteria which can eat oil. How this is helpful? Especially sometimes there will be leakage in the ship. You know, ships which are on water. Sometimes there will be leakage. The ship will be carrying tons of oil. When there is leakage, all that oil will be mixed with seawater. Then because of that, water pollution happens. So when this scientist left that bacteria, the bacteria will eat all the oil and purify that water. So water pollution problem is solved. Okay. Then that what is that Gambusia fish? You know, Gambusia fish. That Gambusia fish will eat a mosquito present on the surface of water, so that water will be free of mosquito eggs. So these are all remediation. So if you want to know what is the capacity of one particular organism, then you should know the DNA of that organism. So that is why they wanted to solve many problems by studying human genome. If they study DNA of human body, they will come to know how problems in healthcare, in the medicine industries can be solved, and how the knowledge can be applied in agriculture. Like we have learnt genetically modified plants, how they are better from other plants, all that we have learnt. No? So this is one. Now this is all thinking about the theoretical, logical thinking. Now we want to know how they remove DNA, from the human body, and how they will sequence it, how they will understand one human being is different from other. This is very interesting. So I hope you want to know that how to do that. That is called methodologies. What is the method to do Human Genome Project? What exactly they did? What exactly they did, we will see now. Chalk. Okay, that is methodologies. Number one, they wanted to study how many genes are there in human body, and they wanted to remove DNA. Now, whether to remove entire DNA, it is very difficult, because DNA is very long, so many kilometers long. If you can imagine how they will remove entire DNA intact, means without any cuts, not removing DNA piece by piece. How can we remove DNA intact? Means very long DNA together at once. It is impossible. Okay, if it is possible also, it is tedious process, it is difficult. Okay, so how they will remove? So they thought of two ways. Number one, to remove and sequence ESTs, that is called expressed sequence tags, meaning they wanted to remove only that part of DNA which produces mRNA and protein. Unwanted genes, why they should study? Because unwanted genes doesn't produce any product, they are useless, so no need to study, isn't it? So suppose very long DNA is there, which is an interrupted sequence where it will have exons, introns, like that, where you know that introns are useless, introns doesn't produce any mRNA, so no need to remove. They wanted to remove only that part, to remove only part of DNA which produces mRNA, or part of DNA which expresses, means produces product. So they don't want to remove whole DNA of human body, they just want to remove only part of DNA which produces mRNA and protein. That is, removing only part of the DNA which produces mRNA is called expressed sequence tags. Okay, that area of DNA which produces mRNA or RNA, that is part of DNA which produces RNA, only that part of DNA they want to remove. For example, see, I will show here, only this pink color part should be removed. Okay, only pink color part should be removed. That white color part is not required because it doesn't produce mRNA. This is one method. Okay, this is one method. Or else second method is there. Second method is there to remove entire DNA. Whether it produces mRNA or it doesn't produce, we will not think about it. We will remove entire DNA, whole body DNA. Entire DNA. Then after removing it, we will separate it. How to separate? DNA which produces mRNA separate, DNA which doesn't produce mRNA separate. That is, we are going to label only that part which produces mRNA. We removed all long DNA, entire DNA we removed, then we will label only this pink part that produces RNA. See, this part produces RNA. Only this pink color part produces RNA. Okay, so removing entire DNA means while removing they remove everything. ಅಂದರೆ ತೆಗಿವಾಗ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ತೆಗೆದು ಬಿಡೋದು DNA. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವುದು mRNA ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಯಾವುದು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. Okay, that process is called sequence annotation. Annotation means naming the sequence, identifying the sequence. Which DNA sequence we name? Only that pink color, only that DNA which produces RNA. That is called sequence annotation. So first one is expressed sequence tags and second one is sequence annotation. See, so you have two choice while removing the DNA. Now why you should remove DNA from human body? Because we want to know how many genes are there in human body. Okay, and we want to store that information in database, analyze and apply that in industry and solve many problems. Okay, first method, how to remove DNA? You have two choice. One is remove only part of DNA, only that part which produces RNA, or else remove all DNA, entire DNA, then label only which produces mRNA. Okay, this is same like what, suppose I want football players, okay, from your class, football players only. Then I will select only football players. I will not select other non-football players. I will select only football players. Like that, express sequence tag means I will identify only DNA which produces mRNA. Okay, second method is a sequence annotation, means taking all the students in a class, then separate them. That is, football players separate, who are not football players separate. That is sequence annotation. Okay. Otherwise, I will give one more example. Like, I want only students who score more than 90%. So I will allow only 90% students to enter the class. Then it becomes expressed sequence tags. That is, DNA which produces only mRNA is selected. And second one is, I will allow all the students to enter. Then in the class, I will say only students who score more than 90% sit separately. Who doesn't score more than 90% sit separately. Okay, that is sequence annotation. Means removing entire DNA, then separating and labeling which is DNA which produces mRNA. This is one method. Then what to do? What is the next step? You have removed part of DNA which produces mRNA. Then what? Then you have to clone that part of DNA in different organism. You already learnt a biotechnology chapter, you know what is cloning now. Producing copies of those DNA. So first method was what? Either EST or sequence annotation. Means you have removed only a part of DNA which produces mRNA, or else you removed entire DNA, then you separated DNA which produces mRNA. Then second method, that part which the DNA which produces mRNA will be cloned in different organisms. To produce many copies of that DNA. Meaning, you have removed one part, ESTs, express sequence tags, that is the DNA which produces mRNA. DNA which doesn't produce, we didn't take. Okay, only that part you have to insert in DNA of bacteria or yeast, some other organism. This is removing human DNA and inserting in DNA of bacteria. Okay, then producing a copies of it. Already biotechnology chapter you know, so you know what is the meaning of it. Okay, so this is nothing but recombinant DNA technology, what we have learnt in biotechnology. Taking human DNA which produces mRNA and inserting in DNA of bacteria and producing multiple copies. You inserted one DNA, then it will produce based on its copy number. Like some plasmids have copy number of only 2, many will have 15 to 100 copy numbers. So which organism is used for cloning? Either they use BAC or YAC, that is a short form. BAC means bacterial artificial chromosome. Bacterial artificial chromosome or yeast artificial chromosome. Means, suppose bacteria, this is a bacteria, E. coli bacteria, it has a artificial chromosome. What we do? We will remove one part of DNA, and that DNA which is removed from human body, DNA which produces mRNA will be put here, inserted. See, this orange color is inserted, and this is BAC, bacterial artificial chromosome. In case of yeast, suppose this is yeast, then it is YAC. Here one DNA is there in the yeast, we will remove one part of that, then we will insert human DNA, then this part, then it becomes YAC. then we produce a multiple copies of it. Like I have inserted one gene, then it produces 50, 60, 100 like that. Okay, many copies. Then what we do? When we produce many copies, then we have to compare this DNA with the model DNA. Model DNA means, suppose scientists have my DNA, they will match my DNA with your DNA. Then they will find what difference we have between the DNA. How to do that? Is it so simple? Like DNA I have in my hand and your DNA I have in other hand and we are comparing? No, it's not possible. Then what to do? Some automated DNA sequencer machines are there, developed by Frederick Sanger, okay, scientists. So fourth method. First method is what? Removing the DNA which produces mRNA, then inserting in bacteria or yeast. Then next you have to compare the DNA with model DNA. For that machine is there to compare. Okay, so it is called automated DNA sequencers. Machine is called automated DNA sequencer. This is a machine, automated DNA sequencer. Name only says, if you put one DNA, it will compare that DNA with other DNA directly. The machine only does. You don't have to do anything. Automated DNA sequencers. It is developed by Frederick Sanger, scientist. Frederick Sanger, scientist, has developed a device, okay, machine, that is called automated DNA sequencer. Name only says automatically it will do DNA sequence. Based on what? Based on overlapping DNA sequence. What is the meaning? We will see now. Overlapping DNA sequence. Overlapping DNA sequence means, for example, my DNA is there here. You consider it as model DNA. Okay, so this is, we will consider GS DNA. GS means Ganesh Shastri, my name I am talking about. Okay, this is suppose other DNA. Okay, we will take N DNA, Naveen DNA. Naveen is the name of the person. Okay, now one DNA is there, on that one more DNA they will put. Okay, this is overlapping DNA. This is one DNA, this is other DNA, they overlap. Then what happens? The machine will show you where these two DNA have similarities. Means suppose here A and T is there, here also A and T is there. Then the machine will identify that it is common in both. Like that, how many sequence will be common? 99.9% same DNA will be there. That the machine will not show. The machine will show 0.1% difference between my DNA and his DNA. That is overlapping sequence. Like 0.1% difference in DNA, it will highlight and show. Machine will show. Like my DNA and Naveen's DNA. Okay, my DNA and Naveen's DNA, both the DNA have 99.9% same nitrogen base pairs. Only 0.1% difference is there. What is that 0.1% difference? That automated DNA sequencer will show. Okay, so that is how they compare human DNA with other DNA. Okay, so then the machine will automatically it will separate each chromosome, each DNA sequence, and the same method they use for all the chromosomes one by one, because in human cell there are 46 chromosomes. First they have to sequence chromosome number 1, means they have to find out how many genes are there in chromosome number 1, then chromosome number 2, 3, 4 like that till 46. Okay, the surprising fact is sequencing of chromosome number 1, they finished in 2006. Okay, chromosome number 1, they sequenced in 2006. Just to finish how many, or just to count how many genes are there, how many nitrogen bases are there in chromosome number 1, they took, they finished in 2006. Then you may imagine, so many years they took to find how many genes are there in other chromosomes. Okay, so this is one. They finished it in May 2006. What they finished in May 2006? They counted and they finished counting how many genes are there, how many nitrogen bases are there in chromosome number 1, and removing the DNA sequence and storing it in database and analyzing it. All that they finished in 2006. Okay, so I hope you understood what I am saying. Okay, this is how they do DNA sequencing. So I have to tell you, the first thing is what they do, they will select only DNA which produces RNA, or else entire DNA they remove, then separate which produces mRNA. Then put that DNA, human DNA, in bacteria or yeast, then produce a copies. Then compare that DNA with model DNA by overlapping DNA sequence, like how my DNA is compared to Naveen's DNA. Then it will show 0.1% difference in DNA between me and Naveen. Okay, then that is how we compare. So first DNA sequence, when they removed how many nitrogen bases are there, that is counted by automated DNA sequencer only, same machine. Then they have stored it in a database. That information is stored in computers, because that can be transferred from this device to computers. Okay, then they finished counting how many genes are there in chromosome number 1 in May 2006. Okay, this is how. Then you know how many genes are there in chromosome number 1? It is 2968 genes are there. 2968 genes in chromosome number 1. They just counted. Okay, they finished that counting in 2006. Genes I am talking about. They didn't say how many nitrogen bases are there. So, any challenges they faced while doing this? Any challenges are there? The challenging task is assigning genetic and physical maps on the genome. Like, do you remember that Morgan's experiment? How to map genes on the chromosome? Mapping means, suppose this is a chromosome. How to locate genes on the chromosome? Like which gene is present where? They identify by the dot, no? That is called locus. Locus is a position of gene on the chromosome. How to map? Means how to show position of genes on the chromosome. Which gene is there on which part of the chromosome? How to show? That is a challenging task. It is very difficult. Okay. Physical map also you cannot do. Genetic map also you cannot do. That is a challenging task. What is the other challenge? We will see now. So I said one challenge is to put physical map and genetic map. It is difficult. No? Then second, 20, how many chromosomes are there? 46 chromosomes are there. All that 46 chromosomes should be separately analyzed. So first problem, first challenge is to sequence 22 autosomes, that is body chromosomes, and 2 sex chromosomes. Separately they have to, all 46 chromosomes to be analyzed separately. Means they have to separate the DNA sequences of all 46 chromosomes. And second, to put genetic and physical map is difficult. It is very difficult. It's challenging, because if they have to show, like this is one chromosome number 1, okay, they want to show 2968 genes are there, where each gene is present, how to show? Like you have to put 2900 dots here, no, like position of genes on the chromosome. Then how to show that? It is very difficult. Okay, that is one more challenging task. Then how to show polymorphism of restriction endonuclease recognition sites, meaning how to cut the DNA into pieces. That is why restriction endonuclease enzymes, point number 3. Restriction endonuclease enzymes are used to cut the DNA at restriction sites. No? At restriction sites. Then some repetitive DNA sequences are there called microsatellites. That is called polymorphism. Restriction endonuclease enzymes are used to cut the DNA and to show polymorphism. What is the meaning of polymorphism? We have to see now. Poly means many. You know, DNA, I said 99.9% DNA is same in all the organisms. Only 0.1% difference is there in DNA. In 99.9% same DNA, some DNA sequences are repeated. Like for example, suppose in my DNA, AATTGC is repeated again and again. Here also AATTGC. Here AATTGC. Not continuously, somewhere in between, same sequence is repeated. And the sequence repeated in my body and your body is different. In my body, if it is AATTGC, in your body it is different. In your body it may be GC, 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 like that. Or CG, CG, CG. What are those repeated DNA sequences are called? They are called microsatellites. Microsatellites, they are nothing but same sequence repeated DNA sequences. Repeated DNA sequences. How to sequence them? How to cut and remove them? That is done by restriction endonuclease enzyme. You already know. Restriction means to cut the DNA. Okay, to cut the DNA, what is used? Restriction endonuclease is used. Okay, so what I was saying. So genetic and physical maps were generated by using information on polymorphism of restriction endonuclease restriction sites and repeated sequences. Like now they were saying to put genetic map and physical map, it is difficult, but it is not impossible. It is possible. How it is possible? It is possible by identifying polymorphism. That is, identify where and which DNA sequence is repeated again and again. Like AATTGC, AATTGC, AATTGC is repeated. You identify that, then you can identify the location of genes on the chromosome. Then only you can put position of genes on the chromosome. See, this is suppose gene X, gene Y, like that you can identify. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, you can identify genes. Okay, to map, to put genetic and physical map, or to find the location of gene on the chromosome, what is required? We should know polymorphism. Polymorphism means which part of DNA is repeated again and again. And repetition has no limit. Okay, like in my body, AATTGC is repeated 50,000 times. In your body, same is there, but 40,000 times. In others, 10,000 times. Okay, like that it is repeated. That type of repeated DNA is called microsatellites, or you can simply say repeated DNA sequence. Okay, so based on that they will do physical and genetic mapping. Once again I'll tell you what are the challenges. To sequence all 46 chromosomes, it is difficult. Means to know how many genes are there in all 46 chromosomes, it is difficult. Then to put genetic and physical map, it is difficult. Means to know location of genes on the chromosome, it is difficult, but it is not impossible. It is possible by knowing the repeated DNA sequence, that is where DNA is repeated again and again. Okay, so we will continue salient features of Human Genome Project in next class. Okay, so keep watching my classes. Thank you.